Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mr. Dupa. That right there is Adam Obeses Rodriguez.
Hello.
And that guy is Drunk Dave Romero.
What's up?
Tonight's brew is the Wandering Pelican Black Ale from Great Lakes Brewing Company in collaboration with Cigar City Brewing Company. It's in a silver can. It looks good.
It looks weird because the can is labeled and not printed.
Yeah, it's a little strange. It's like a sticker.
Yeah, and if you just think of it's just a silver can without it.
You know what else it is? It's beer, and this is the One Beer In Podcast.
Yeah.
Lost to be found by someone to save you when you're down. Yes, I'm bored when it's bright out. So bored when it's bright out. 4 to 5 a.m. takes me to a place where I fit in.
Yes, let's do this.
Wait, I'm getting there.
Manly.
God, this was a bad pour.
Keep digging.
Keep digging for gold, bruh.
There it goes. Whoa, this is strong.
Yeah. What is this? Percentage.
Man, that was good though.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
Very good.
What's the ABV on this, man?
I can't find it.
That sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's keep drinking. Let's find out.
it doesn't say on the can, but
Oh boy.
Well, whatever. This is really good.
Yeah,
I like it.
agreed.
yeah.
This feels very strong.
You sound drunk.
I'm drunk.
I'm drunk.
That's good stuff.
Yep. What do you think?
I'm giving it. I'm gonna go 5.
I'll go 5.
5 as well.
Damn it, Adam. Be unique.
It's a consensus.
You yelled at me last time for changing my score to be unique. Can't go back on that.
Wandering Pelican Black Ale, 5 bottle caps out of 6. Really good stuff. Cigar City, still knocking it out of the park.
That's good. If it seems like we're rushing along, it's because we are. Mainly because it's late. But even more than that, we have a lot to talk about.
We want to get into it, so we're gonna get right into it. Us 3 gentlemen
Just
saw X-Men
There it is.
Days of Future Past. It's grossed like $200 million in the box office over 2 days. So we just threw pennies into the well. My pennies were well worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a great movie.
Fixed
Now,
everything. It made it all better.
It as far as quality of the film. Yeah.
Wait. Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You're good.
All right.
Yeah, quality of the film itself, yes, far surpassed anything I think, except, it was close to, I think First Class and this one are neck and neck as far as I'm concerned.
I like this one a lot more than First Class.
Yep.
First
A
I
lot more?
thought you were going to compare it to Avengers.
No,
Because this
no.
is
Well, that's-
technically
yeah.
the Avengers of X-Men. How they took both universes and kind of mushed them together into like one.
I think X2 is closer. X2 was the one where they really tried to get everybody together.
I mean, together how?
Or X3 maybe is what I...
X3,
I think
'cause
X3
X2
is what
they're
I'm
still
thinking.
X3 was
fighting.
jumping the shark. This was just good enough. It was
Yeah.
perfect. Tasty. There were some parts in there where I thought were stupid, and like I kept going, "Why is she so dumb?" Let go of that stupid vendetta mystique.
I'm still bothered by the
Whoops.
continuity. It still bothers me. I can't
The
deal
continuity.
with it. Yeah.
What do you mean?
You think this movie patched those holes?
Yes,
How?
it totally did because they're two different universes. In the beginning of the movie,
That's a cop out.
no, it's not.
I think it's a
Because
cop
that
out.
happens in comic books all the time. That makes sense to me.
Well, it's the same thing they did with the Star Trek universe, too, with the reboot.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
Maybe
that's
where
true.
they got it
That's
from.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see that they had a little Star Trek scene in the movie itself. I think that was a little nod to them saying,
yeah, that's right.
"Hey, we kind of
It's
took
more
this
time
idea."
traveling.
Right.
Get it? Or
Oh, I
sort
think
of.
I
Not
think it
really
fixed
time
everything.
traveling.
That because of that, like that happened because in the original X-Men, X2, X3, Mystique did actually kill Peter Dinklage. and that's why they're
Right.
so far behind.
But
the only
see-
thing I don't like is that in those movies there were no Sentinels.
Okay, exactly. There was no the problem with if First Class and Days of Future Past were the only two movies in the universe, I mean it would suck because all the cameos wouldn't be as cool.
Yeah.
But they would make a way more sense if it was just First Class and Days of Future Past. When you bring in you bring in Origins, we still haven't seen the Wolverine, but if
Right.
you bring in Origins and the original trilogy, it makes no sense. It still makes no sense unless you say the trilogy is a different universe. That's the only way it makes sense because
Yes,
there's no acknowledgement of her killing that guy. There's no acknowledgement of Magneto being JFK's murderer.
Dude, Magneto's a dick.
There's no
He is
hold
such a
on. There's
dick.
there's no acknowledgement of Mystique and Professor X's relationship at all.
That's the biggest one for me because
You're right,
nothing.
You're right.
if you think back, there actually was a mention. I don't know if it was a direct mention, but they did show Sentinels in I think X2 when they were doing that training simulation.
Yeah, there's Sentinels in the training simulation. Yep.
Okay,
So-
so they
Right.
did exist, just not.
Not
We didn't
for-
see them.
Or maybe they exist, but no. This is too large of an event to gloss over. So I wish that they would have maybe acknowledged that the original trilogy was in a different universe, so they can just
Right.
go look. All that happened, but it's not part of this because what we're watching is a different universe.
Which is what I thought they
altogether.
were going to do in the first place because it was that was the easy cop out to do that and say this stuff happened on its own, but don't worry about it.
Dude, Quicksilver in X-Men in this movie was the same Quicksilver in.
Captain America 2.
Yeah.
It's the same Quicksilver.
Right.
Like the actor portrays.
No,
the same.
I don't think it's the
no,
same
it's not
guy.
the same actor. No.
Are you sure?
Positive. Because they couldn't have that same character in both of those universes because in
Maybe
obviously
I'm just putting his face on there because of the
yeah,
hair.
because in Avengers they're not allowed to mention that he's a mutant. They're not allowed to say the word mutant because that belongs to the X-Men franchise, which is owned by Fox.
All right, get
So-
back to that. Maybe I just.
You know
had a
what's
stupid
funny
moment in
about
my head.
that is I don't know if you noticed, but they don't say mutation in the movie. Like the whole movie, they say powers.
No,
like
they
it's a
say
fucking
mutants.
video. No, they say mutants, but when they talk about their abilities, they used to call it their mutant abilities or their mutation. They call it their powers throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's significant, but I noticed it
Yeah.
a lot.
Anyway, loopholes put aside, or the things that they missed, like the Sentinels in in the original trilogy that didn't
All that
exist.
aside-
What I like about it is they took two parallel universes, or not universes, two different storylines that we thought couldn't merge, and they went like this with it. So now any X-Men sequel that comes out will be up here at where the movie left off.
Yeah.
And any kind of prequel will be in the First Class timeline.
Well, yeah. And see, they got a winning formula with First Class, and they realized it took them 4 films, and they go, "Holy shit, we did it! We finally did it! This is it! This is what we do!"
Yeah.
And now,
Sound like Peter Griffin. Holy shit, we did it, Lois.
but that's what happened. They figured it out. It took them 4 films, but they figured it out, and now this is the trajectory they're going to go on. So I have really, really high hopes for X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Watching First Class and Days of Future Past, X-Men Apocalypse looks like it's going to be incredible.
Right. My question is, where are they going to go with it? Are they going to take it to that apocalyptic future that could have been?
No. See, what they do now,
Like apocalypse, like the end of the world, or apocalypse, the person.
both. That's my theory. Is both.
Yeah, I think it.
he brings
definitely-
about the apocalypse. But what's cool is they use Days of Future Past to set up bringing everyone back. So now they don't have to explain what about Jean Grey, what about Cyclops,
Yeah, that
what
was-
about Storm. They don't have to explain that now.
That's what I liked about all that.
They're already there.
Because Jean
So-
Grey's fine ass is back. Scott Summer punk ass is back too.
I know. Still the same punk ass Cyclops.
I love you. I'd
Hey.
like if they killed him off the exact same way.
Oh God.
in
no.
Apocalypse.
Oh my god, that'd be great. That would be awesome.
Not again. Wait, I'm not supposed to remember that.
Damn it, Brett Ratner.
Yeah, so now in Apocalypse they can have all these characters, and they can have Bishop and all these other characters that
Hopefully, Cable maybe.
right. Maybe they'll bring back. Oh, they're definitely bringing Gambit back because I don't know if you guys saw
Yeah, I
who's
saw
casted
that.
as him. Did you see?
Unfortunately.
You ready for this?
No.
You ready?
Hold on to your butts.
No.
Channing Tatum. We need some kind of something there.
Well, no, that sound, folks,
Why?
is the sound of a vacuum being created here from the silence.
Why Channing Tatum though? He's G.I. Joe.
Well, okay. Their reasoning is the casting is he's also from New Orleans, which is where Gambit's character is
I don't
from.
care.
And that he's an action star, and according
He
to
is?
them, well, I mean, yeah, 21 Jump Street, G.I. Joe.
He's the Magic Mike too.
He's versatile, man.
Whoa.
Didn't
Versatile.
he? Didn't
What a
he
talented
win
actor.
he won the Trailblazer Award from the MTV Movie Awards?
That means
That means a lot.
Yeah.
what I'm saying
wow.
is he's a trailblazer, and we should all respect
Oh,
him
I'm sorry.
as such.
Is the music television channel now giving out movie awards that are supposed to matter?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's Channing.
With all that music
Tatum.
they play on their channel.
You guys are just haters. You're hating. Anyway,
Yes, we are.
Clearly.
Just like you were hating on the NBA, sir.
yeah, I'm upset about it. You want to go? You want to talk about that? We can talk about that. I'm not happy.
Marco, rant.
Yeah.
I
Go.
mean, it's
Sports
just
rant.
I'm tired of it. I'm just.
What are you
fucking-
tired of?
I'm tired of the NBA because the NBA is so fucking predictable at this point. It's
You didn't see Donald Hold on, I can say it.
Donald
Donald
Sterling.
Sterling coming.
no, of course not. Those are the events that
Donald
make
Sterling.
the NBA something to watch. When it comes to the actual games, I mean, I could have called this shit at the beginning of the season, but I didn't want to believe that the Miami Heat would go to the finals for 4 years in a row, and the San Antonio Spurs would be there. What is it? This is their 4th time in 6 years they've been to the finals.
How are you keeping track of all this? Why do you care so much?
Because I like sports, man, and I don't care who knows. Just it's not fun anymore. It's losing its fun, and it was never fun for you.
Maybe you
Yeah.
should play it instead, Marco.
I do play it.
Not on a video game.
It's just not. It's becoming just the same shit every year.
Yeah, like professional wrestling.
That's different.
Mm.
That's different. Those are storylines, and they're better.
Okay.
WWE. I'd
Okay.
rather watch WWE than NBA.
Maybe they should put a story in the NBA.
I could get with that. If there was, I mean, the Lance Stevenson versus LeBron thing was a good story. You
Yeah.
wouldn't know anything about it because you didn't watch
I
it.
don't even know that name.
Exactly.
Who's
This
who's
is why
LeBron?
I'm watching football more and more than I am basketball.
You said you were getting into hockey too, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Rangers are in.
Yeah,
Rangers.
I've been keeping up with the.
What a weird twist. Sports with Dave. He loves hockey.
That would be if you had like encyclopedic knowledge of hockey.
I'm an
That'd be
almanac.
incredible.
Hockey and soccer or something.
So football is better than basketball
Yeah.
at this point to me. Still go Magic, but anyway,
Yeah.
back to X-Men.
They're relevant.
Fuck you.
Back to X-Men.
Rep my city.
Do you have any other than the continuity? For me, is the biggest flaw in the movie still. Do you guys have any gripes with the film?
Well, I mean, they fixed a lot though, right?
Oh yeah. There was
yeah.
definitely questions answered. There was definitely there was connections made, but I think they were made with tape. If that makes any sense, they're flimsy connections, but they're connections still.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
know what I'm
like,
saying?
I don't like the obvious nod that Quicksilver made to Magneto.
Yeah,
The when he goes, yeah, my mother knew a guy that could bend metal.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like I don't know my dad. Are you my daddy?
right.
Yeah.
You
He
my
wouldn't.
dad?
I
Could
just
be my dad.
I'm slow here, but I'm fast here.
Yeah,
Want
I
to play
didn't-
some Pong?
I didn't like that either.
The other thing I thought was cool was that they made a nod to the other movies where Magneto just stops Wolverine because he has the adamantium
Yeah.
skeleton,
Yeah, yeah.
and then he can't do that now. So he wraps him up in what's it called?
The rebar. Right?
Rebar. Yeah, he wraps him up in rebar or weaves through him in
Yeah,
rebar,
which-
and then
that
at
was
the
dope.
end of the movie, Stryker never happened, so he doesn't have the adamantium skeleton right now.
Well, at that time, it
Stryker
happens
does.
later.
Yeah, Stryker gets him.
No, because they
Stryker's the one who
they
pulls
did
him out of
nod-
the water.
No, That was Mystique, doofus.
Oh
Right.
yeah, right.
That was the
Right.
twist.
That's my
Huh.
bad. That's my. You're right. You're
Huh.
right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Huh.
So
What are you, a nameless henchman? you don't notice eyes, doofus?
so okay, right.
That guy has really weird eyes.
Yeah, it
So
was
does-
weird. I've never seen that before.
So now that begs the question: in the next film, is he even going to have adamantium at all? Because I know that there's a universe in the comic books where he doesn't have adamantium, or it's removed from him. I know there's a couple of storylines with that.
Yeah,
involved.
where they take the metal skeleton out and they put the bones back in for some reason.
Yeah.
Whatever. I think it's solely to fight Magneto in that
Right.
storyline.
But
Makes
still,
sense.
I mean, it is in the comic books loosely if they
Right.
put it in the film. If that's, but he's not as dope as. I mean, let's just be honest. He's not as.
You
cool.
don't think so?
I
I thought
mean,
Bone Wolverine was always cooler than Metal.
I like
In the
Bone
comics,
Wolverine,
yeah.
because he was a savage in the comics.
Exactly.
But in the films, like he just seems very vulnerable. I mean, you could break bones, they just break them off.
Yeah, but he heals.
adamantium's indestructible.
He
That
heals.
was the point.
He heals.
I get that, but
I see what you're
it's not
saying.
adamantium.
The other
see
thing
what
I
you're
have a
saying.
problem with is why did it need to be Wolverine when it had nothing to do with his
Because
body?
it's Hugh Jackman. It always has
Duh.
something to do with.
But it had
Wolverine.
nothing to do with his body. That was the obvious, like, they...
No, even his spirit will be repaired. Okay,
It's like...
even his consciousness will be repaired. You know what? What you're saying is exactly right. Because if it really had anything to do with the
It
mind,
should have been Xavier.
Professor X would have been fine.
Right.
He has the strongest mind in the world. He is the strongest
Psychic-
telepath
you're
in the
right.
world.
Yeah.
He would have been fine.
Yeah. But
it was about having Hugh Jackman go
it's
back.
it's like he's this big dumb egotistical retard and nobody wants to do this, but he's like, what if I could do it? And they all
Right.
just stood there silently like, he wants
Let's throw him in there.
do
wants to
it.
go
Yeah,
back
do
there.
it. Do it. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I don't
you
want to
want
fucking
to.
go.
I wasn't
You
gonna.
can go if
This,
you want.
yo, our death is not going to be on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that,
The other problem I had was how inept the future X-Men were. How they killed all those guys. Storm goes, everybody okay? Just assumes they're all dead. Like
Right.
these almost indestructible
Right.
machines. Everybody okay? She got exactly what she deserved, getting impaled from the
Oops.
back.
which was awesome, by
Which,
the way.
by the way, I would
Love
love
seeing
to
it.
impale
High
Storm from the back
five.
also.
Fives.
Yeah, no, but that also brings up a point that I was going to make too, that it was really violent for a PG-13 movie.
There's
Hell
no
yeah.
blood, though.
Well, that was the
Yeah.
point. They became their transformations,
Right.
so then you can rip them apart,
Right.
Because they're not people.
That's okay for the MPAA.
right.
Like you can crush
I
ice.
guarantee you that's how the meeting went.
Yeah,
Like
no, absolutely.
he's not a person.
Oh,
he's
oh.
Colossus. He's
Yeah,
metal.
they
rip
ripped-
him in half.
Rip
Yeah,
him in
they
half.
ripped Colossus in half. I was like, oh, that's not.
I know.
That's you're not supposed to be able to do
Right,
that.
No.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
I feel a little cheated. I like Colossus. He's one of my favorite X-Men,
Mm-hmm.
and he just gets disrespected all the time, man. All the time.
entire time.
In X2, he was a babysitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
X3, I mean, he's just there for like 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
This film, he gets ripped in half. Just disrespect, man.
Bobby gets his head ripped off.
Yeah.
Bobby, what the fuck, Bobby?
Seriously,
I hate that little. Fuck him.
She's gonna die.
Shut
well,
up.
we're all gonna die
Exactly.
if she doesn't keep doing this, Bobby.
Man, what you do is you use your ice powers and you patch her up and you
Yeah.
shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
That's
you,
what you do.
slow down the blood.
No,
flow, bro.
He needs to chill out.
Right. Exactly. This
Don't
little
even explain that joke.
bitch
No.
Don't explain that joke.
whining about Kitty. What happened to Rogue? How long did it take for him to forget about Rogue?
When-
Is she dead or did she die through the war?
Where is
or-
Rogue?
They don't explain it. We're supposed to assume that she
What
died
happens
in
to
the
Rogue
war.
in the movies?
She
She goes to New Orleans.
I think doesn't
no,
she
she's-
tries to get her.
That's a True Blood reference.
Never watched that show.
Okay. No.
It's okay.
Yeah, I stopped too. It ended up being crap.
Fairies.
I
Fairies.
heard it gets pretty bad.
It gets really bad.
Ooh, vampires and fairies.
Like season 4.
First
3
couple
or 4
seasons are real
seasons.
good, and then after that, not so much.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the point. I think the last thing that happened to her was she was trying to get rid of her powers, right? 'Cause she was depressed. She couldn't touch anybody.
Yeah.
And then she ended up just getting them back. They had the serum to,
Yeah.
return the powers that Magneto unveiled or whatever. He got his
Yeah.
powers back, too.
Oh yeah, that was another thing. Watching Michael Fassbender as Magneto, just it finally I get to see one of the best comic book villains fully unleash
He's
his
an ass-
potential.
he's an
You know?
Full Darth Vader.
He's
Yeah,
an asshole.
full on. I don't care. Watching him use his powers lift an entire baseball stadium and then drop it around the White House.
I was wondering where he was going with it. I was like,
What are you
What's he
doing?
doing? I don't get it.
Yeah.
I kind of.
The other thing I didn't like is how he can control programs through his magnetic powers. And the other thing I didn't like was when the Sentinel's like right behind him and he goes, "Do what you were made to do." That Sentinel should have blasted him right on the spot.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Just
true.
destroyed
because
him.
what happened after it figured out? It went right after
back to him. Exactly.
So why didn't it? Yeah, that's a plot hole.
That's
definitely a plot hole.
The other thing I don't like, there's so many plot holes. Like, nobody notices an entire like mile of train track missing. Nobody sees a baseball stadium lift into the air and float to the White House.
I mean, even if they did, it wouldn't have made a difference. But you're right. Nobody even acknowledges the fact that it's fucking lifted into the sky.
Well, they had that one shot of the people looking up, like Independence Day style, as the shadow comes over them. I think that was.
They did. I guess I missed that.
Yeah, no, it's
Maybe that was when I was blacking out from my rage of the people sitting behind me.
Yeah, we should mention we had a really rough theater experience.
Very un-theater ethic. I mean, the ethics of movie going.
Right.
They breached the contract that we all sign when we walk into a movie theater.
Right. If you bring a child, you risk leaving in the middle of the movie, and that is your own fault.
Mm-hmm.
You do not talk as if you were sitting in your living room, which is exactly what was happening
behind us, directly behind us.
A couple was acting like they were sitting on their couch watching a movie,
just chatting.
I don't.
Just chatting it up real loud,
talking about stuff. Anytime anything were to happen, the guy went,
Look at those gardens. It's in the shape of an X for the X-Men. Those bushes are the X-Men bushes.
It started with the 20th Century Fox, and then the X was still there, and he's like, there was an X still there. Like, the entire theater didn't fucking see that shit.
I didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
No, I might have been looking at my phone.
Well, then I take that back. Maybe
I didn't hear him say that either.
Yeah, well, I heard him.
Yeah.
Because I saw it, and then I hear somebody acknowledge it, and it's like, you
well,
fucking
No, they were doing that the whole movie, though. Like, the rabbit's foot on the keychain. Oh, she got a rabbit foot. And then they cut to the license plate, and it says like "you lucky" or something.
Or
Right?
lucky.
Oh,
or lucky you.
Oh, lucky you.
Get it?
Because
the rabbit's
the
foot.
rabbit keychain.
Yeah,
you know?
him and his whore wife.
No money.
Stupid.
No money.
Oh my god.
You made it sound like they were poor.
Yeah.
Well, then fuck them.
Ethically poor.
Yeah, ethically
Bankrupt.
they are poor. They are ethically bankrupt.
Yeah.
Ooh, shots fired.
Adam,
We have some feelings.
what are your gripes with the film?
Basically what you guys said, but I feel like the movie itself was like well done enough that you can easily look past that crap. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right. There are things that I was like, well, why didn't Charles just stop her from doing anything? Like, that would have been a great idea.
Yeah.
Or maybe you should have not been on your drugs in the first place, Charles.
Yeah. I do like that though, because when I saw the trailers of him walking, and stuff,
you were mad.
Yeah, I was like, no, I don't accept that.
Mm-hmm.
No, well, I don't accept the way he loses his ability to walk. Anyway, I didn't know that it was a stray bullet that
shot,
for some reason Eric couldn't stop.
And they're just like okay with it. Like, he mentions it to him, like, you remember what you did to me? He's like, please, bitch, please, swerve.
Right.
I was trying to save the president.
And it just, I don't know. There was a couple of things that just kind of, excuse me, I feel like they just kind of gloss over.
You know what?
But
you know what else I don't buy is that Magneto saves or he's trying to save the president because he's a mutant. But shouldn't that be something that Charles knows, having Cerebro?
He doesn't have him though. He doesn't have
does.
Cerebro anymore. He can't control Cerebro because he loses his abilities. Remember, so he
Right.
wouldn't know that anyway. All he's gonna see is, as a person, the president being shot.
Right.
Which, by the way, that was a bold plot point.
Marco, like something happened to him when they dropped the JFK thing.
I thought it was extremely bold to use that as a plot point. Because it's one thing to acknowledge his death in the film, but it's another thing to intricately put it into it is a very important plot point because Charles assumes that Eric is a murdering bastard because he shot the president. So for a decade, he hates him not only because of Raven, but because of what he did in 1964.
Right.
Like, I like how he's just like, oh,
Right.
When he just goes,
Oh,
Wait a minute.
oh.
I was wrong this whole time. How did I not see that?
Sorry, bruh.
Of course you were curving the bullet because he's a mutant and I didn't see
What
it
was
because I'm
JFK's
drunk
special
out.
power?
I would love to know.
Dropping them panties.
Oh.
Boom, 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 boom. No, that's yeah. That's
That's
probably it. That's probably
Probably it. Yeah.
Dropping Marilyn Monroe's
Dropping
panties.
panties.
But he could only do it once. He made it worth it.
I really thought that was a bold plot point, and I'm really surprised that I haven't read anything or seen anything where people are like upset by that.
I saw something about it, but it was never anything like people being upset because I feel like that threshold's already been passed in comic book movies. They did that with Watchmen.
Yeah, comedian blasted his face off.
That's true. That's true.
So I mean,
What if Magneto was bending comedian's bullet, but he predicted it?
Ooh, stop it! Stop it!
we're crossing streams right
Stop
now.
that.
That's
Oh,
not going to work.
Goodness.
No. But yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, I can easily look past those sort of plot holes and things like that.
Now let's say this. Let's harken.
I think they're just trying to make the universe more believable by
Yeah,
saying, Magneto shot JFK.
Well, they're trying to kind of root it in more reality, and they're trying to kind of give it more grounds. The problem is the continuity for me. You can ground it in as much reality as you want, but
you're never gonna be happy then.
I can't let it
you
go.
Stick to it that much because I went into the movie thinking, all right, this is a comic book, and that's it. Like, it's a comic book on the screen, and because of that, I was able to get through stupid things like, well, why is Mystique so like hell bent? Why can't she understand she's gonna kill everybody in the future?
Right? Yeah, and well, I mean, those kind of motivations bother me. I just feel like it's lazy storytelling because they're trying to show us something more. I don't see the the advantage of assuming that the audience isn't smart enough to get that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've seen all the films. You've seen the Wolverine. We haven't even seen the Wolverine.
My God.
I mean,
We should watch that.
We should watch that.
Yeah.
But we've seen all of them except for the Wolverine. So
Honestly, you're not missing anything.
what I'm saying is, if you're not like a casual fan, but a fan of comic book films and a fan of X-Men, which we all are, big fans of X-Men,
Right.
I think it's just a tad bit insulting to just kind of gloss over those continuity errors. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it's a little just like lazy and a little insulting to just say, well, don't worry about it because we're gonna just entertain you. Maybe it's not insulting. I take that back.
You gotta understand,
It's lazy.
It's comic books' own fault that things like this happen. That there are so many different universes, and then at some point they can just go and just make it one universe.
I get that, but
So it's something you have to take with a grain of salt. Like, you're never gonna get a completely continuous storyline that makes sense in all the universes.
But see, in comic books, I feel like you suspend your disbelief even more so than in a comic book film. In a comic book film, you're not a slave to the source material. You can say, this is what they did in the book. Now let's take that and let's make sense out of it, or not do it. They don't have to do these plot points. They don't have to have these alternate realities to explain their fallacies in logic from the first films to these films.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a sci-fi. It's every comic book movie is sci-fi fantasy. If you're gonna be like that and put strict logic to it, then you have to disbelieve your logic to or suspend your disbelief to every kind of sort of logic.
I don't mean to just say, it has to be grounded in as much reality as possible, or I'm just gonna say fuck this film. But I just want a more than just like a half-assed acknowledgement of First Class, which is basically what Charles gave us. He said something about Raven, she was with me and then she's with Charles and it broke my heart, or blah blah blah. And it's the first time you hear Patrick Stewart as Professor X acknowledge Raven.
Right.
And that is the first time in the series of 5-6 films that he ever acknowledges her as a person other than his enemy, or the aid to his enemy. That is I don't know how many times he even acknowledges her face to face.
She was just another bad guy.
Exactly. So I want a little more than just a half-assed like throwaway. I want them. Where I'll be happy is if they at least explain to me
They give
why.
you a prequel.
If they gave me a prequel to a prequel,
they give you a love
a
story.
sequel to the prequel.
X-Men love story.
Just something to say to explain why they act like they're complete strangers, even though they grew up together and they've had this entire history.
So you want a villain to come along and just boop, erase Mystique's mind, boop, erase Professor X's mind, and they're just people.
Yes,
Right.
that would. I
That's-
would. Yeah.
That's the simplest solution to that I can think of right now.
But
Yeah.
even if that were to happen, you would clearly see that as a cop out. That's what they did with the Wolverine too, when he gets shot with that bullet in the head.
Well, in Origins,
and and he forgets
yeah.
everything.
Oh well, don't get me. I mean, I wanted.
Let's not start
Yeah.
on that because forget it.
Calm your shit.
But okay, suspending my disbelief and ignoring the continuity errors. Yeah, I mean, Days of Future Past is a really good movie. It's a great film.
Which, like again,
that's-
it
yeah.
made it easy to do that too.
Yeah.
Because seeing like all of the mutant action on screen was probably the closest I'd say it got to watching the cartoon. You know,
Well, that's-
or like
Yes,
seeing
that's
it.
exactly what I'm saying. The opening, that's what I was thinking in the beginning, how the opening sequence was exactly what
Right.
I wanted for a
Yep.
while. Just
Yeah.
seeing, like,
Everybody working together.
yes, fighting Sentinels to survive, and, like, unfortunately they got torn to
Oh,
shreds.
yeah, they got torn to
But
pieces.
just to see them fighting and using their powers and collaborations,
Yeah.
just like in Avengers,
Yeah.
when Iron Man and Captain America, Iron Man does his beam into
Phaser
America's
beam,
shield,
yeah.
and it blasts all over the place. It's
It's just
awesome
like a
to
fucking
see
video game.
right? To
Right.
see superpowers collaborate like that,
Yep.
and that was cool. When does anybody know the mutant's name with the portals?
Yeah, I don't know.
We
should, but I
Blink
don't know her name.
or
Yeah, maybe
Blink
it's
was
Blink.
her
It's
name.
Blink.
Who played her, by the way?
I forget.
She was hot.
Indeed.
What was I
Anyway,
gonna say?
yeah, like when Blink and
I fucking forgot.
I didn't like Warpath's power. What could he do? Just sense fights?
Yeah.
Could he sense a fight coming?
I guess. I don't
He
know.
ran through Blink's portals really well.
Yeah.
He had a knife, and that
Sweet
was it.
knife, yeah.
And face paint.
He jumped kind of high.
I want to kind of harken this back to the last episode, episode 12, where we reviewed Godzilla.
Right.
I think this is a really good example of, yes, there's a lot of plot holes. Yes, there's some continuity errors. Yes, there's things that are wrong with this film, but the good outweighed the bad.
Right.
Absolutely.
Outweighed it heavily.
Right.
It
As-
almost broke the
As
scale.
compared to Godzilla, Gavin.
Kevin, it is tipping the scales heavily when it
Yes.
comes to good outweighing the bad, and that's how you do it.
Right.
If you're gonna say, you know what, there's a lot of errors, there's a lot of plot holes, but we got a good movie here. This is the kind of product we're gonna give to people who are loyal to this franchise. People will forgive you for that. People will
Right.
take those errors, they will take those things, and they will say, okay, I get that, but this movie's so good that I'll accept those bad things. That is the problem with Godzilla, and that is what's so good about X-Men.
Yeah, I don't think people realize that there's actually, like a foundation for Godzilla and Godzilla lore.
Yeah.
Right. There is an established storyline, and there are people who were fans of that film who probably felt really cheated by the movie itself, the reboot.
Yeah.
This X-Men Days of Future Past, which I still kind of don't really like the title. I just want to throw that out there. Days of Future Past.
What would you call it then?
I don't know. I was trying to think about what I would call
Well,
it.
then shut up.
But it still bothers me.
X-Men Back to the
What
Future.
does it mean? Days of Future?
It's the days
Past?
of the future's past. I just repeated the title, hoping that it would make more sense to you.
Well, the
but
thumb thing.
He went back,
past.
It
and
is
then
the
and then
days
the
of the
days
future's
of the
past.
future's past.
Because we're going into the.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense.
We're going to X123's future, and then we're going into the past to first class.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There we go.
I don't like it.
See, I just had to say it
Yeah,
slower,
you
and then
did.
you
did,
you
and
get
then
it.
I got it. It's
Yeah.
like I was speaking another language. You just say it slower,
Mhm.
louder,
Yeah.
and I'll get it.
It's because you're stupid, Marco.
Yeah, I get that. It's a hard life being dumb.
So, what do we give this film?
4.5 out of 6.
I thought we're doing letters
Are
for
we?
films.
Are we
No.
still holding on to that?
What are we doing?
No. We're keeping the bottle cap rating for
For
everything.
everything?
At least on the podcast.
Okay. Yeah, in that case, I think a 4.5 is good.
God damn it, Adam.
I'm just saying, I think 4.5 is good.
I'll give it a 4.
Okay.
Because Mystique is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Magneto's an asshole. They really rustled my gems.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
It was.
I mean, he was
such a simple solution. Like, don't let this crazy person do crazy things. And hey, Xavier, you can do that. Just stop taking your drugs right now.
I think Magneto's motivation was, I don't think it was forced though. You know, him trying to kill her made sense, and in X3 he gives her up very easily because she loses her power. She gets hit with the thing, and she loses her powers, and he's just like, "Peace out, sweetheart. Like you're not a mutant anymore."
Yeah.
So it's not beyond the realm of possibility that he would do that.
I also don't like that Trask.
Yeah.
Trask.
Yeah.
They take Mystique's powers to make a armor that can absorb other mutants' powers. Where does that happen and come from?
Yeah, that I don't. I mean,
if they took Mystique's powers,
if they
should
took
have that
Rogue's
machine
powers.
turn into other people.
Well, I mean, the way that I can see it working out is that they were working towards that. It wasn't quite there yet, but that it could shapeshift based on her DNA.
it shapeshift. Yeah, based on her DNA, gives it the ability to shapeshift, and then it shapeshifts based on tactical advantage when fighting mutants.
But then it absorbed the mutants' powers.
Well, they could have easily explained that by saying that they got Rogue's DNA.
But they didn't.
They didn't.
They didn't. And you know what that's called?
Cop out.
Plot hole.
I win!
Anyway, so 4.5 because Adam's an original.
And a 4
And a
out of
4.
6. It was a good film. There was a lot wrong, but a lot more right.
Mo better.
It was a lot more better. So if you haven't seen it, well, you probably shouldn't have listened to this podcast. Yeah. But if you did, I would still suggest going to see it because it's a very good film.
What?
Well, if they haven't,
If you've seen the movie, go see
no.
it.
If you haven't seen it, go see it. What I'm saying is, if they listen to this podcast, we ruined the film if they listen to it.
Well, we just ruined the film by pointing out all the plot holes before they even saw the
But they
movie,
can
so they'll
still
go and
watch
see
the
the movie and see all the plot holes that we were talking about.
Exactly. There you go. Have fun, kids. This is the One Beer In Podcast. My name is Marco Dupa.
This is Obesius.
And I'm Drunk Dave.
Catch us at onebeerin.wordpress on the YouTubes, everything else. Thank you guys for listening and have a good night.
Bye.
Laters.
Oh,